Welcome everybody to a special edition of Panfish Nation. I have my good friend James Dockery on here today, and we're going to talk about Missouri jellyfish, something that
Yes,
I
sir.
never knew about. So, James, take it away.
All right. So, um, if the wind kicks up, I apologize, guys. We're out in there's no shelter or anything like that around here. I cannot see chat, so if you guys have anything you ask about them, make sure that Lyle sees it, stuff like that. But Missouri is home to us to jellyfish. Now, for those of you that are kind of tech savvy in the whole nine yards, you guys can actually look up on Google Earth. There is a small little pond that is called Tom Sawyer Lake, and it is by Florida, Missouri. And every year about this time, MDC holds a class so that we can go out, take kayaks or belly tubes or whatever, and go out and actually swim with these freshwater jellyfish. There are two different places here in Missouri. One I do believe is uh, Table Rock, Table Rock Lake, that has the jellyfish in it, and this little pond here. That is the only two places that they have found them so far that we know of. Uh, but yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, just like put them over in chat, and I'll answer them the best I can.
That's awesome. We're getting several people in here. James, I know you and I had talked about doing this, but this was kind of a uh, spur of the moment thing. But we even have fishing frustrations all the way from the UK watching this show today. So I find this extremely interesting, James, because I simply did not know that there was anything like that shy of the oceans. And when you was telling me about this, I was a little skeptical because there has been times that I considered you, full of stuff. So
Oh yeah, yeah. The same goes back to you. I mean,
I,
it's only fair.
that's exactly right. But I was a little skeptical of this. But wow, I mean, those have no bones, no nerve systems.
Nope,
Is that correct?
that's right.
Oh man. Uh,
Yep.
Michael Murillo wants to know: are the jellyfish recognized as a game fish?
No, they are not.
I didn't think they was.
And
Oh,
this is actually as big as they'll ever get.
really? That's
About the
cool.
size about the size of a quarter. They do have tentacles, like you could find in the big jellyfish out in the ocean and stuff like that. They're just so small that they cannot penetrate your skin in order to sting you.
Okay, good. That was what was Betty's question was: do they sting you? And
No,
I
and
didn't really know. Of course,
right.
I didn't know we had them, but um, looking to see if there's any other questions. Anybody that has any questions about these, James is helping with classes today for the conservation department. So if you have any questions about this, please get them in chat so we can ask him while we have him on here because we don't know. He's got to help get people lined up and out of water and do all kinds of stuff. That's kind of the things that he does. So if you have any questions, let's get to them. Michael Murillo says, do other fish eat them or how do they fit into the ecosystem there?
They're okay. They're not actually native to here. All right. We're not sure how they got here. Um, we don't know if it was they just clung to something or feathers off of a bird or something like that through migratory systems. But there's two life cycles of a jellyfish. One is they call it a polyp form, and what that polyp does is it'll attach itself to a small branch underwater or some lily pads and stuff like that, and it starts to multiply from there. And then these little shoots will pop off, and it goes into what they call the medusa phase. And during the medusa phase, that is what they look like. Is what your typical what you see as or what we know as a jellyfish.
That's way cool.
But as far as fish and stuff like that, fish, like any fish. I mean, they learn, early on, don't go near the jellyfish.
Right.
The smaller ones and stuff like that. Any fish that actually tries to eat them, they will sting around a fish's mouth because a fish's mouth is more sensitive.
Sure.
So, and it's just like if you put one of these in your mouth, I'm sure at some point you're going to swell up. And if you know how to cure jellyfish, or a jellyfish sting, that's on you, folks.
I've heard about this.
Yes.
Betty wants to know how you catch them.
We actually hang on one second here. Let me show you. I don't want to get too personal, but as you guys can see, there's kayaks out there, and what people do is they go out with like cups or small nets and stuff like that. And this pond is not very big, guys. I mean,
it's like about 1.5 acres or 2 acres.
It's probably closer to an acre, well, to be truthfully honest with you.
Okay.
With all the lilies and moss and stuff like that, it's really shrunk down quite a bit. But I'll go back to show you.
Okay.
Let me get this set back up here. Figure this out. There we go.
Kelly,
can you guys still see those okay?
Yes, sir. Kelly wants to know if you can keep them as pets.
This is pretty much the end of their life cycle. So you really can't
if you keep them like that, they die after you turn them loose.
Right. Well, there's no. Well, they will eventually, yes, but there's no amoebas or anything like in here in fresh water or anything like that for them to eat. Once you take them home and stuff like that, they'll usually last maybe a week. But like all jellyfishes, they are really, really sensitive to stress and other stuff. So it's best, if you do ever, get a chance to go through either your Department of Conservation or DNR or whatever, to go to one of these classes, that's the best way to observe them.
I see. Let's see. Betty wanted to know if they exist anywhere else, but you said down around Table Rock Lake, but they're not everywhere. They're just in select few places. Hello, LG Bass. Good to see you in chat. She also wants to know if these will be living in Katie's hot tub.
No, they will not be living in Katie's hot tub.
But it's not because you didn't think of it, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I would love to, but I mean, it's kind of defeats the purpose of me taking them home and them dying. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's good.
And for those of you that had asked, like Betty, other states do have these.
Oh, really?
These are all across the United States.
So she could go to Ohio where she lives and look on the Ohio Conservation website and type in jellyfish, and if they got them, she could find out where in her area.
Right, and just type in freshwater jellyfish.
Cool. Hey, Kim Burnett,
and see if they have them there.
Here, buddy. Michael Morello says your hot tub is an emergency bait tank, and sadly, these are not bait. That is for sure. That is an amazing thing, James. I have to say, it really is. Hey,
well, you're starting to cut up just a little bit. The service out here is just really, really shoddy. So you guys bear with me. If it cuts out or anything, I'll try to get back as fast as I can.
Does that help any? If
yes,
it's on your end, okay, maybe I just didn't have the microphone close enough to me. But
no, it's on my end. If, like I said, if you guys looked at this place up, Tom Sawyer Lake, you're out in the middle of nowhere.
I like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, me and you both. Except for when you're fishing a tournament and have no signal.
Yeah. Well, can we, while we're on here, what's the chance of us talking about the images you sent me just a few minutes ago?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Because see, I think I remember somebody saying that if they would get out in a kayak if Katie got out in a kayak.
I
And
don't remember anybody saying that, but maybe
oh,
you.
I do
Refresh
remember. I do remember you saying that.
me.
And I actually have pictures of Katie out in a kayak today. So
And
that means Lyle is going to have to get out in a kayak at some point,
you're
guys.
going to have to prove I said it. But yeah, if I said it, I'll do it. But man, I don't want to. I was impressed with because I know Katie goes with you all these places. And didn't you tell me sometime back that you had bought her a kayak?
No, I have not yet. We were
Okay.
thinking about it. She just wasn't sure of it yet.
Well, how about now?
And
Is she sure of it now?
now she's definitely sure she wants one. So we're going to
Very
start
good.
saving up, and looking around, see if we can't find the one she wants.
Yeah, and make sure it's a good one that's she'll be
Yes.
safe in.
Yep.
I agree, David. That's exactly what I told Dockery in a chat while ago. I'm too old and fat for a kayak. Is that not what I told you?
That is exact word for word. That is exactly what he told me, guys.
Well, David he said he's too fat and old. He just had fat and old backwards from the way I put it. Papa Ed says his brother-in-law ate one of those on a bet. Didn't do
Oh,
anything, but he didn't know it if it would or not. I got to tell you, James, you can't bet me. You can't have enough collateral to get me to try
no,
that.
not me either. Not me either.
Betty says they're kind of weird looking. I think they're awesome because
I
that's probably be the only time I'll ever get to see one.
Well, no, because we're going to have another class next year. You come down here.
Yeah, I
We'll
might do
get you out
that.
in a we'll get you out in a kayak, and you can swim around out there in a kayak with us.
Hey, we'll see about that. I'm not going to be any younger in next year, just so you know.
Well, as long as you move slow, and let's face it, you're old enough that you do move slow.
I do.
You won't tip over a kayak.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why you have Cindy in the boat. She's still young and spry. She can run from one end of the boat to the other to get hold of them rods when they go
Well,
down.
that's exactly right. And you've seen that happen. I didn't rush to get no damn rod.
I have very much seen that.
Kelly, I'm sorry, but I'm not into the kayaks. Josh says, looks like they are bringing the kayak to the Lake of the Ozark next month. Well, Josh, if you do, we could take a rope and tie it behind my boat, and I can get you to where you want to be fishing a little faster than you can paddling. How that be?
And I think Josh would be a better candidate for that kind of stuff than you
Yeah,
and
me
Sonny's
too.
idea of strapping me into my kayak and pulling me behind the boat.
I would be happy to do that too, but I don't
Because
want to cause you any health issues. But I couldn't wait to see how big your eyes got.
yeah, I know, but I mean, and Josh is healthier than I am, so maybe Josh goes first. We'll see how it goes, and then you guys can,
Yeah, SK, those are freshwater jellyfish that James is showing everybody in that jar. That's what they are. They come out of a small lake up in northern Missouri that the conservation department has. Weekend Angler says J Dog would eat one. He probably would.
probably would.
Hey,
Yep,
Mike. Papa Ed says, hope you all are doing good, James.
we are. We're hanging in there. We're trying to get by one day at a time.
How
But I
many of
thought
them
this.
are in there, James? Roughly
I'm going to say there's probably about 15 of them in here.
15.
Yeah.
And how did you acquire those?
I sent Katie out in a kayak with a small little net, and she actually scooped them all up, along with a couple of other people that work for the conservation department. They brought them back to me, sitting up here on the bank, nice and dry, and I poured them in here because I thought they'd be a little bit easier for you guys to see and hear than some sort of a bag or something.
That is really amazing thing. And I'm so glad that you shared that with us. Josh says you'd better run wide open. If I'm going to do that, I want to go all out. Josh, come on, man.
That's
If I
the only
get
way to
that
do it.
rope attached to you, unless you bail, we're going to go wide open. It's just got to be.
Yep.
Christina says she will film this experiment. Woohoo!
Turn it into a pay-per-view.
Katie,
so
Betty
go
says,
ahead.
of course he sent Katie.
Yeah.
Realistic Fishing, welcome to the chat. Realistic says, do they sting? And he said, yeah, but it's
Yes.
real slightly, but doesn't really be harmful to humans unless you would get it up around your mouth or something where they could get some soft tissue.
Right. No, they're just like saltwater jellyfish. They can sting, but these, like I said, these are only about the size of a quarter. The quarter-sized ones are as big as they will ever get.
Now you're talking about the main center of them.
Right. The mass of them. Their tentacles themselves are maybe, probably a fourth of an inch long. So they're little bitty tiny things.
Lee, these was found in a conservation lake in northeast Missouri.
Right.
But they are throughout the United States, James said. You just have to check and see where there's a place local to you that actually have them. SK will know what we're putting in the water up here because he never heard of jellyfish in freshwater before.
Yep.
It is,
and that would be
amazing.
That's something, that is something that me and Lyle talked about, as far as the education part of Panfish Nation, is that we wanted to do some of these, the cooler things that people may not be able to get to see or do and stuff like that. And this was one of them, was the freshwater jellyfish.
That's exactly right. And maybe I know that you've been feeling a little bit under the weather, and we're glad that you are better now. And possibly maybe we can do some more stuff like this because you do quite a bit as you help the conservation department put on seminars and teach people about fishing and other outdoor activities. So it would be great if we could do a few more of these, but
we're going to do as many as we can.
Absolutely. Realistic Fishing says, I wonder if they have any predators.
None that we know of.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said earlier. But the way they would sting a predator in the mouth area when it might be a deterrent to keep any fish or anything from doing that. SK says, cool for hearing from James. Hope he's getting better. He is, sir, and we're glad to see that you're better too, SK, and back going on. David Martin says they survived the cold water temperatures as a question.
Hang on one sec.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got an information sheet here, and apparently I'll need to learn to read all of it. But they do actually have predators. Crayfish can eat them, turtles, and other. It just says other species.
Okay.
So Katie had my cheat sheet. So
I'm guessing that if you would listen to Katie when she says read the cheat sheet, it would probably be beneficial to you.
Okay, but Katie was out in the kayak, so. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to. I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to wrap this up so we can start getting people in and out or out of the water. But like I said, I wanted to show you guys these and let you kind of investigate on your own and for your own state.
If we missed any of your questions,
yeah, if you have any questions or anything like that we missed, write them down in the comments. And when we get home later on this evening, me and Katie will go back through and we'll try to answer as many questions as we possibly can.
That's great. Thank you so much, James and Katie, for coming on here and putting this on for us. We appreciate it very much. And like he said, if you guys have any more questions or anything, put them in the chat below. I'll stay on for just a minute after James gets off. And if you guys have any questions or anything, you can add them to chat, and they will answer them when they get home tonight the best they can. James, thank you guys. Katie, you too. And we'll see you next trip.
All right, bud. We'll talk to you guys later.
bye guys.
Bye. Man, what a cool deal. James had told me about the freshwater jellyfish. I did not. He's so full of himself sometimes. You don't know if he's telling you the truth or not, but he was telling me the truth, and he had proved it before. And I said, hey, next time you guys go out and do that, let's do something. It was actually his idea. to do this. So he messaged me earlier and sent me pictures of Katie out in the kayak, which I thought was pretty awesome, and says, "Are you ready to go live with this?" And I said, "Absolutely." So, like I say, if you guys have any other uh, questions for James and Katie, just write them in the comments, and they'll answer them when they get home, because they're going to help get the people out of kayaks and on the bank. And uh, I think they're basically teaching people how to use kayaks and different things. And I got to tell you, if he ends up forcing me to get in one of them damn things, I'm going to have to go through a course to find out, because I don't. The first thing that happened to me is I'd end up face first down in the water, and he'd stand there and laugh at me till I couldn't breathe. But I think that him and Katie do some wonderful things, and it's a thankless deal that they do. They don't make a dime off of it. They just do it because they enjoy helping people learn, and I hope that we get to do some more things like this, because it was cool. It just is cool. And I would probably never seen a freshwater jellyfish if he hadn't brought this presentation to us. So if you guys like it, please like and subscribe to Panfish Nation. We are so glad that everybody comes in and enjoys this, and share it if you care to. And remember, tomorrow night, right after the bait shop, we will be on live with Panfish Nation with Mark, and be sure to tune in. See you then.